Hello there. We're Canadian folk musician Jesse Ferguson's Fingers, and we're here today to talk to you about the importance of calluses and nail care for your playing of guitar, mandolin, banjo, violin, any kind of stringed instrument that requires the use of the fingertips for fretting. So, hand care, very important. It's not just for the ladies, gentlemen. It can make or break your performance, and it can also increase your pleasure of playing because it will decrease the pain that you experience. So very important, take care of your hands and they will take care of you, and you will both enjoy the music more. So, we're going to discuss first calluses and then nail care and talk about some tips for improving both. So, what actually is a callus? Well, basically, they can occur anywhere on your body. Anywhere that you have skin, you can develop calluses. And they are basically a thickening of the dead part, the dead external part of your skin. All over your body, all over your skin, you have a layer of dead skin on the outermost part. A callus occurs when repeated friction or abrasion happens on your skin over a period of time. That thickened, that dead layer gets extra thick and may become unsightly, but you can get them on your feet especially, or on your fingertips in various places. And what they do is they basically prevent pain and any further damage from that kind of a friction type scenario. So the pros of calluses for guitar players and musical instrument players, string players, is that they decrease the pain you feel. You can play longer, you can play instruments that have a more difficult action. So in terms of instruments that are harder to play by pressing the strings down. So for instance, a 12-string guitar. If you play a 12-string guitar, you have to press down twice as many strings. So you have to press harder, it may cause pain. Good calluses will allow you to do that for as long as you like. And the cons are that they basically reduce your sensitivity. And I'll demonstrate that with a death-defying act here with an X-Acto knife on one of these fingertips. And as you can see, pressing fairly hard, pressing the skin down, no pain at all, no sensitivity. Whereas if I did that on the palm of my hand, much more sensitive, not pleasant at all. So, it can reduce sensitivity though, so in terms of dexterity on the fretboard, you might, there's a bit of a trade-off there, that you might have less sensitivity. Or for instance, if you are a blind person reading Braille, you wouldn't want to become a guitar player, because you lose all sensitivity to that kind of, the dots of Braille on your fingertips. So, how do you develop calluses? Well, just like you develop them on your feet with your shoes if they don't fit properly, it happens over a long period of time. And the same type of friction done very in an acute sense, where you have friction happening over and over again in a very short period, will develop blisters instead. On your fingertips you may develop just bleeding, but in either case you don't want that. So what you want instead is to practice a small time period, for a short time period, many times a day or many times a week, as opposed to playing for 3 hours in one shot and never playing again for the rest of the week. So much better to gradually build up those calluses. They will come with time. If you're a beginning guitar player, you may feel that guitar playing is not fun because it hurts so much to play. If you pick up your guitar every single day and practice a little bit, they will eventually come and you'll enjoy playing a lot more. How do you protect your calluses? Well, even though they may become a bit yellow and unsightly, don't try to do something like file them down. Don't try to cut them short or cut them off with an X-Acto knife. Those are battle scars. They're badges of honor that you've earned from playing your guitar. So keep those intact, and they will serve you well. Also remember that if you take a long break from playing your instrument, you may be starting over, maybe not quite from square one, but you can certainly lose some of your callus. So be prepared for that. Also, don't play your guitar, if possible, right after you've soaked your fingers in any kind of way. So doing dishes, taking a shower, taking a bath, right after you've applied hand lotion, because that will soften the calluses, and when you start shredding on your guitar, they will wear down quite quickly. So take care of those calluses, very important. I have heard an urban legend that putting crazy glue super glue on the tips of your fingers can serve as a sort of makeshift callus. I've never tried it, and I suspect that it wouldn't work because it would be very brittle and it would just crack as you play. Also, if you do that, be careful that your fingertips don't stick together or stick to the fretboard and damage the finish on your fretboard. So, moving on to nails. Very important element of your fingertip, obviously. Now, the rule of thumb with fingertips with nails is to keep them as short as possible without cutting into the flesh, the actual skin that lies right just at the base of them. So basically, if you see some white on your fingernails protruding above the fingertip, you cut that off, but not too short that you cut into that flesh potentially. So some people recommend using a nail file instead in order to gradually just take off a little bit. I find that a bit time consuming, but you might like that if it would work for you. So basically, you want to just give them a little bit of a clip, being very careful not to nip into that flesh. Ow! So, now why would you not want your fingernails to be too long? Well, basically, they might dig into the fretboard. Over years, you will gradually gouge out some of the wood between the fret wires. That's generally a problem on older guitars. You may find that, especially down towards the head of the guitar where most people play most of their chords, you'll find gouges right around here and right around here. So not good. They can also get in the way of fingering the fretboard. They might catch on something inadvertently on one of the strings. So keep them as short as possible if you can. Now, you may also encounter a problem like we have in the past of the skin on the nail pulling away, or the nail pulling away from the skin, which can be quite painful. So what happens is, either from playing too much, playing aggressively on the guitar, or doing some other kind of heavy work during the day, the skin gets pulled back and the nail stays there, and basically what you end up with is an open cut between the two. Extremely painful, even though it doesn't bleed. It's just a minor tear in the skin, and wow, is it ever painful whenever you try to play something. So if that happens to you, which has happened to us whenever we've played some gigs a few times, almost ruined the gigs, is we like to take a piece of electrical tape, cut it lengthwise. This is just happens to be yellow, just regular electrical tape. One piece goes over like so, press it down, and then pull tight so there's tension on that fingernail. The second half goes wrapped around. And believe it or not, you can play adequately on that, especially if you're just doing chords. It's not too bad. Delicate finger picking may be out, or lead may be out, but that's one possibility. And you'll notice that on your picking hand, your fingering hand, that the nails eventually will creep down over time and be much shorter than the equivalent on the other hand. You can see here, maybe if I compare those two ring fingers, one of them has a much higher crown, I guess, or the nail comes up much higher, even though they're both trimmed right to the quick. So those are some ideas for nail care and callus care. Take good care of your hands. Good balanced diet is also a help in terms of maintaining proper fingertip health. Happy strumming, and thanks for watching.